Apocryphal Jackalope33 asks a question, um, and it's actually a very good question. Unlike the hypocritical bully that I had to deal with, named Michael Allen, but I think there was some contention between me and Apocryphal Jackalope. Oh, a jackalope! I didn't know it. That's the rabbit with the antlers, right? It's a jackalope. 33. But he asked an honest question, and I'm willing to put things behind me very easily. Why am I wearing such stuff? It's because, well, as I said before, uh, the scars are less visible. But this is a topic that's very near and dear to my heart. As you can see, I actually have one of their icons of St. George. Now, Haile Selassie was actually the last of the Orthodox rulers. Some claim him to be the 442nd descendant of Solomon and Sheba, with the son Menelik. I believe the Jews got there after Manasseh took power, and I think that can be proved. I think that's just one. As crazy as Graham Hancock is, he got that part correct. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church, Tsar Nicholas was the last king or emperor in Russia of the Eastern Orthodox people, but the last Orthodox king was Haile Selassie the first, or in his native tongue, Ras Tafari. It's where we get the term Rastafari or Rastafarian. It's Ras Tafari. Ras meaning king. Getting into their canon, okay? I was wondering what your thoughts on Ethiopian Book 1 of Enoch are. I know the Ethiopian Orthodox Church has never had their I know the Ethiopian Church has it in their unclosed canon, and it was referred a lot by ante-Nicene fathers and the church, but there are a lot of Judaizers and Gnostics on YouTube who also use this book to make up some crazy theories. Yes, there are. Thank you for mentioning that. Unfortunately, my mother, who was listening to Alex Jones, and it was my brother who got her listening to Alex Jones, and it drove me up a wall because they were talking about Enoch and remember, there was a reason that in the Middle Ages the Latin West didn't want the lay people reading a translation of the Bible, because translations of like the Book of Mark were almost like dictionaries, and they also had commentary, and they were illuminated manuscripts, because it was kind of hard to translate some of the ideas. And then you get something like the Gospel of John. How do you translate logos? Translating a word doesn't do it justice. Check Andrew's channel for that, Standardization. He has a great series on that. Yeah, they the Orthodox Church really had never sealed the canon until they absolutely had to in 1663 at the Council of Jerusalem, I believe, and I think it was held on Crete. And this was a response to the Roman Catholics and all the other Protestants forming a canon. But these books, you'll find all of these books within Orthodox monasteries. Now, books such as Enoch, it was a later writing. Obviously, it wasn't written by Enoch, and it has a lot of weird stuff in it. Now, it's not one of the main books they use. You want to know the main books they use? They're all in here. And then, when they're not using these, they're using things like 1st and 2nd Maccabees, Sirach, Wisdom, which you would find in a Roman Catholic Bible, right? Or 3rd Maccabees, which you find in an Eastern Orthodox Bible. The Armenian Orthodox have the 3rd epistle to the Corinthians by Paul. It's not really a problem because the church predated the Bible, and different church communities had different, I don't want to say canon, but collections, codices of books, right? And never really got standardized until in between Athanasius's 39th Paschal letter in 367, where he lists all the current books that are in a Protestant Bible, but he also says you need to read the Didache and the Protevangelium of James and this and that before you even start reading any of this. And then you have 415, the Council of Carthage, codifying this, but for the Latin-speaking people. So in the East, yeah, I mean, I have a copy of the Peshitta over there, one in Spanish, one in English, and they didn't. They initially had the Didache, which was all 4 Gospels harmonized together as one book, and they didn't have 2nd Peter or 2nd, 3rd John, but it didn't make a difference to any of their theology. But the Ethiopians, yeah, they have what could be called Judaizing stuff. I mean, they have a form of the Didache. I always call it the Diasilica, but it's the uh, I always mispronounce it wrong. Let me just go to early Christian writings just so I can see. It's a form of the Didache, but it's got a bunch of extra crap added. Shoot, where is it? See, it shouldn't be red, it should be black because I tapped on it before, but it doesn't look like it's here. But it's a form of the Didache, because the Didache was around between AD 50 to AD 120. But this this expansion of it comes from, you know, the 2nd, 3rd, or even 4th century. But this is not really abnormal. I mean, most of the Gnostic texts, right, don't come from Nag Hammadi. They come from monasteries that just kept writing stuff down. Supposedly Secret Mark, which I don't buy the story behind that, was found in a work of Clement, although nobody can find that work of Clement anywhere, and it was only seen by one guy, Morton Smith, a Westerner, and never since been found. So, very weak evidence on that. But yeah, they have a lot of Judaizing stuff, because there was a Jewish community there prior to Christianity. I also believe they have the Ark there in Axum in St. Mary's Church. But yeah, I mean, you have a whole community of Jews converting to Christianity, and they hang on to some Judaized traditions. Okay. So what? And you know, I really love the Ethiopian Orthodox. I've actually have kissed the hand of Ethiopian Orthodox priests because they are priests. My confessor for the longest time was a Coptic Orthodox priest, and for a very long time, they were in charge of um, of Ethiopia or Abyssinia until Axum kind of got its own autocephalous, but then you had Eritrea break off, and a lot of trouble came from that. But the Ethiopian Orthodox Church is arguably older than the Roman Church. I need to pronounce this correctly. Sorry. And it doesn't get me anywhere. Let me just type in Didache. Boom, Didache. I'm sure it'll have the older expanded upon one. La 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 la. Apparently it doesn't. But yeah, praying 3 times a day, we should do that. Fasting on Wednesdays and Fridays, that should be done. Some of the oldest it testifies. It's a document that testifies to very early on worshiping on Sunday, fasting on Fridays and Wednesday, praying 3 times a day while facing east, and those things still should be done to this day. But I don't really see it as a Judaized work. Now you could say, yeah, it is a Judaized work because it's not a Pauline work, and so is the Protevangelion James, so is the preaching of James, so is the works of Peter, and you could also say the Gospel of Mark and the Gospel of Matthew are also Judaized works. But the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, it's kept itself pure from outsiders, whether that be Islam or Italian fascists or missionaries. And that's why I'm against reunification, because I don't want to see them all of a sudden now practicing the liturgy of John Chrysostom when they practice a liturgy that's much older. I don't even know if it's the liturgy of St. Mark. I think it's the liturgy of St. James. All right, peace to you. I hope I answered your question. If I didn't, please, in this video, ask any questions you want, more questions. If I didn't answer a question, ask it again. All right, peace to you, and thank you very much for the question, because Ethiopia is part of my heart. It's a great Christian land until, what was that? The Mengistu government came over, and the communists came to power and just started destroying the beautiful Abyssinian culture. Peace to you, brother.